So today we're going to be taking a look at all of the Chanel Allure Homme fragrances. I'm back with another buying guide video. You guys really seem to like these videos. For a lot of you, I really think it does help guide you through a purchase if you're just jumping into a new fragrance line. I've done these videos on Spice Bomb, Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, Terre d'Hermès, the list goes on. I have a whole playlist dedicated to videos like this, so you can check that playlist out on my channel. These are really designed to help give you a basic, digestible rundown on all the fragrances and a certain fragrance line, and that way it can help you make a purchase. Now, because I love helping you out, we're really going to be diving deep today. Not only am I going to be going over all the fragrances in this line, but I'm also going to be doing a quick comparison between the current eau de parfum versions of these fragrances and also the eau de toilette concentrate versions. More specifically, I'm talking about Chanel Allure Homme Sport Extreme eau de parfum versus eau de toilette concentrate, and Edition Blanche eau de toilette concentrate versus eau de parfum. If you're kind of wondering what I'm talking about, looking at me like I'm a crazy person, when these fragrances first came out, Chanel Allure Homme Sport Extreme, Edition Blanche, they were released in an eau de toilette concentration. Over the years, Chanel has switched the whole line over to eau de parfum except for the original Allure Homme Sport and also the Cologne Sport, and the original Allure Homme as well. But Allure Homme Sport Extreme and Allure Homme Edition Blanche are eau de parfums. So naturally, when this happened, everyone went crazy. They were thinking there was a reformulation and that the eau de toilette is going to be way more superior than the new eau de parfum. I'm here today to kind of give my thoughts on that as well. So we have a ton to cover here. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. I will also provide links to these down below when I can. Those links will take you to reputable retailers. You can't really get Chanel's on discounters, so don't be expecting to click those links and get a discount. I can't make that happen, but they can take you directly to places like Neiman Marcus and those other reputable places that you can get these, pay full retail, but you do know that you are getting a 100% authentic product. So of course, we're going to start where this fragrance line began. This is with Chanel Allure Homme. So here it is in the clear bottle. I'm sure this looks familiar to a lot of you. It's been out for a while now. Again, eau de toilette concentration here. That never changed, so we're not going to touch on that conspiracy with this one, obviously. Some of the main notes in this one is vanilla, lemon, orange, and tonka bean. So you have a really nice mixture here. You got a little bit of a citrus, a little bit of a fruitiness up top, giving it a nice fresh kick, but then also a little bit of a warm vanilla, a little bit of a warm tonka bean, giving it a touch of a powderiness and a nice sweetness as well. And that combination right there is what makes this fragrance so good. It's ultra versatile. I mean, it's Chanel Allure Homme. It's something that can be worn by any guy, any time of the year, for any situation. It works so well. It's also going to be a great compliment getter, just like you would expect coming from a prestigious brand like Chanel. You only expect them to put out things that are going to be received positively, and this is one of those fragrances. Performance on my skin, even this new bottle here, it's new within the past year or two, is great. Longevity, I'm getting about usually 7.5 hours, sometimes a little bit longer. In terms of projection, it's one that does sit a little bit closer to my skin. It's a little bit more of a moderate projector, which is fine. It does leave a nice trail, and it is one that works well when people get closer to you to discover it on you. So performance is pretty good. Can't really complain. Some people may want more for the price that these go for, but really that's just something that's not going to happen. There's niche fragrances that are very expensive that may not perform that good either, and it's just really something you have to come to terms with. Either you like it or you don't. For me, performance gets a pass. I think it's not half bad. Following that, we have Chanel Allure Homme Sport. So this one is also an eau de toilette, and it has always been that way. Main notes in this one, we have orange, aldehydes, C notes, and tonka bean. Just a few of the main ones here. Like with all of these, there's going to be more notes. I'm just kind of touching on the ones that I pick up on the most. The orange mixing with the tonka bean gives it this iconic, sexy creaminess that you're going to find really throughout the whole entire line, except for the Cologne Sport for the most part. You really don't get that creaminess. You do get orange, but not the creaminess like this. And it just gives it that traditional smell. Like, it's something that is so common with the line. And that combination, orange and tonka bean, is used in other fragrances as well. But I really do think this line brought a lot of light to it. It's wildly popular, very successful, and it smells awesome. The C notes gives a bit of this fresh, aquatic, watery touch, a tiny bit of this salty type of feel, and also the aldehydes gives it this very bright, light, wispy, and airy type of smell, a bit of a fresh kind of brightness coming from that note, and that really sets it off and makes it a very sporty smelling fragrance. The name fits the fragrance perfectly. It's that original Allure Homme, just brightened up, a bit more fresh. Just like the original Allure Homme, this one can also be worn all year round, but due to the fact that it is a sport flanker and it does have those C notes and the aldehydes, this one's better, really more for spring and summer. It's great in the springtime and summertime. You'll stick with early summer just because it still does have that sweetness type of thing going on in the base. It's really the same with the original Allure Homme. You can wear these out in the summertime, but just try not to go too heavy on it. It does have quite a bit of depth, and in the heat, these will warm up quite a bit. You'll want to be careful with it. There are better options in this line for high summer heat, but if you're just going to work, you're walking outside of your car for a couple minutes to get to your office, and it's in the summertime, it's not a big deal. It's going to be fine. They're going to work great. Chanel Allure Homme Sport, really, really nice DNA here, and it's a classic. Gets compared a little bit to Versace Pour Homme. There definitely is a similarity, but there are also key differences as well, and that's something I've touched on in other videos. Performance on this one is actually pretty good as well. Longevity, really pretty consistent with the original Allure Homme, usually around that 7-8 hour mark. Projection wise, actually this one does pop off my skin a little bit more, especially in the spring and early summer months when it is a bit warmer. This one will project quite a bit. Nothing that is too out there, too crazy. It is still a pretty light, airy scent, but it will push out, it will get you noticed. So up next, we're going to cover probably the most popular fragrance from the line, the one that gets the most talk, and the one that got the most hype by far. This one is Allure Homme Sport Extreme in this nice, sexy gray bottle. This one here is going to be the Eau de Parfum concentration. I don't know if that's really going to show up or not, but Eau de Parfum. And then here I've got a 100 ml, and this one, if I can get it oriented correctly, is the Eau de Toilette concentrate. I think you can see that. If not, take my word for it. I wouldn't lie. Funny thing, I actually have 3 bottles of this Eau de Toilette concentrate, and I've got a bottle of this Eau de Parfum, this 150 ml. Yes, I have an issue. There's no need for me to have this many Chanel Allure Homme Sport Extremes, but I have a lot of them, and from the other flankers as well, I've got quite a few. Again, look, it's something that I got a problem. I'm going to admit that to you firsthand, but hey, it came in handy because now I can compare them on video just for you guys. So let's go ahead and crack right into this. EDP on the right, Eau de Toilette on the left, and it's going to be reversed for you, obviously. So smelling the EDP up off the top, it's creamy, it's minty, it's got that tonka bean and orange mixture. It's got that nice, sexy green mint up top, giving it that fresh vibrance. It smells awesome. I mean, when you smell the opening of this one, you'll understand right away why this is so successful. Smelling the Eau de Toilette over on this hand, there's a slight difference, and I'm going to shoot it straight with you guys. This one has just a little bit more of a creaminess, whereas I find the Eau de Parfum is a bit more minty. More creamy, Eau de Toilette, a little bit more minty, fresh Eau de Parfum. Now, that's just off the opening, and that's just off of paper. You'll find that when you test these on skin, they dry down to basically the exact same fragrance. I just wanted to spray these on in the opening here just to give you a quick little analysis. But I have had the Eau de Toilettes for a while. I've had the Eau de Parfum when I first got it, like 3 or 4 years ago. I just wanted to do them on camera really quick. But yeah, a little more minty fresh on the Eau de Parfum side, which is the in-production one. The Eau de Toilette side just opens up a bit more creamy. The mint is still there, but the orange tonka bean mixture comes through a little bit more. That's really the only difference. Is it worth trying to hunt down the Eau de Toilette? No, not at all. I mean, if you can get a bottle for really the same price as the Eau de Parfum, then go for it if you would like to. I mean, you're not going to miss out on anything, but really if it's going to be costing you a lot more to grab an Eau de Toilette, it's not worth it. I know you're all going to be wondering about performance, and the performance is the same as well. People say that the Eau de Parfum has been reformulated. It just doesn't work. That's not the case on my skin. It is a long-lasting fragrance, and I guess I'll go ahead and touch on the performance of these right now. Longevity on my skin has always been a pretty consistent 8-9 hours or so. Projection has been strong within the first hour, hour and a half. It'll really push out. From that point, it'll die down, and that goes for both of these. So really not too much of a difference here. And even though I already touched on this when I was smelling the openings of these, the main notes that I get from this one is orange, tonka bean, and mint. That's really the extent of it. A little bit more of a sweetness in the base, but that's kind of what it's known for. Up next, we're going to be talking about Allure Homme Edition Blanche. Right here, we have the Eau de Parfum. This is a new bottle. Just recently got it as well. And then over here, we've got the Eau de Toilette Concentrate right down there. Obviously, Eau de Parfum, Eau de Toilette. Let's go ahead and cover these real quick. I just sprayed them. Get that nice lemon up top, you get some lemon, you get some vanilla, and you also get a little bit of a spicy pink pepper blast. Over here on the Eau de Toilette, you get really the same thing. You get that lemon, you get that pink pepper spiciness, you get that nice vanilla. These kind of get compared to a lemon meringue pie. Difference here between the two is that the Eau de Toilette, a little bit more emphasis on the lemon, whereas I find the Eau de Parfum to be blended a little bit better. So really, honestly, a lot of you could say that the Eau de Parfum might be the better fragrance when you're talking about blend, although if you want a bit more of a lemon prominent opening, the Eau de Toilette would be the way to go. Again, it's not worth hunting these down just to get the difference, unless you're a collector like myself and it's just a crazy person and you want to have all these things, and that's fine. You'll like them both, but if it's going to cost you more, don't worry about it. Just get the Eau de Parfum. A lot of people will think that this one is probably the better fragrance because it is smoother, and perhaps maybe that's what Chanel was after anyway when they switched over to an Eau de Parfum. But really, for the most part, you're going to be splitting hairs. Both of these are fantastic fragrances. Longevity, performance on my skin is the same across the board as well. We'll just focus on the EDP because that is the one that you can purchase. On my skin, it's going to be really pretty consistent with the other fragrances, although a little bit less. Longevity usually is in that 6.5 to 7 hour point. So, not quite as long lasting as some of the other ones. I think primarily because of that fresh lemon opening, less focus on the sweeter notes, more on that lemon. Doesn't stick around on the skin as long, but it makes up for it a little bit in terms of projection. It will push out there and get you noticed, especially in the summertime. It's a really nice, refreshing, sexy summer gourmand. It smells fantastic. That lemon meringue pie is a pretty good way to describe it. If you want to smell sexy and playful in the summertime, this one is a great option for you. And last up, we have Chanel Allure Homme Sport, Cologne Sport. So yes, it is Sport and then Cologne Sport. Now there is an older version of this, I believe, which is just Cologne. So Chanel Allure Homme Sport Cologne, and then you've got the Cologne Sports. I don't have just the regular Cologne. I've got a few bottles of the Cologne Sport, so I apologize for that. But from what I've heard, there's not going to be much of a difference either. It's probably going to be similar to what we've covered earlier on in the video. But this one smells fantastic, and this is going to be your citrus-forward, summer-dominant fragrance from the line. All of the other ones have a little bit of a creaminess, a little bit of a sweetness, whereas this one is fresh citrus all the way through. You get lemon, bergamot, orange, and grapefruit as a few of the main notes. Obviously, all citruses there, all fruits there. It's really what you get from this one right away. What you'll find is that this one smells a little bit like Allure Homme Cologne. That one is one of my favorite summer fragrances. Allure Homme Cologne, just a masterpiece. I love it. Every time summer rolls around, that's one of the first ones I reach for. Great, great fragrance. Although that one has a very, very limited note breakdown of 3 notes. This one's got the notes I just mentioned, but even more than that. So really just focus on the citruses because that's mainly what you get from this one. You will find that it does have a little bit more depth coming through, and that's kind of where it differentiates from the Dior. The Dior is all about that citrus and musk. This one has a little bit more of a woodiness, a little bit more of a depth, but still primarily is citrus forward. And yes, it does have that similarity to Allure Homme Cologne. Both are great fragrances. Some like this one better, some like the Dior better. I think they're solid. If you want a bit more depth, a little bit more of a richness to it, while still being very summer oriented, the Chanel's the way to go. But if you just want something that's very, very citrus all the way through and not a whole lot going on in the base, then the Dior would be a great option for you as well. But just talking about the Chanel line here, this one's awesome. Citrus all the way through is basically what you get from this one. Performance on my skin is pretty solid for what it is. Longevity is in that about 6 to 7 hour range. Projection is a little bit light. You will want to spray more with this one to get it to push out more. And if you do wear this one in the heat, it will also project out a lot more as well, which will be the way to go to really get the full potential out of this one. So there's my quick take on all of the fragrances, including the comparisons between the Eau de Toilette Concentré and the Eau de Parfum, all that stuff. So really, overall, what is my favorite from the line? It's going to be a tie between the Sport and the Sport Eau Extreme. Those two are my go-to fragrances when I want something that's going to be wearable. Allure Homme Sport is one that I wear in summertime a lot, just going out casually, even though it is going to be a bit sweet maybe for some if you really heat it up. For me personally, I don't mind it. I will wear it out in the really high heat and let it warm up and sweeten up. That doesn't bother me. It may bother some, which is why I wanted to make you aware of that in the video. But that's one of my go-tos in the summertime. And the Allure Homme Sport Extreme is one that I'll wear in the nighttime. And what's so beautiful is that you can wear Allure Homme Sport out in the daytime, go do your thing, go to work, run your errands, whatever, and then say you have a date or a dinner or something in the evening coming around, you can spray on Eau Extreme right over top of the Sport, and it's going to layer perfectly, and now you've got a sexy night out fragrance with a bit of a minty fresh kick and a nice creamy sweetness underneath. to have you to take you through the whole night. You'll pull tons of compliments. Women will love it. It is a compliment monster. That's why it's so hyped. Really, two of the best from the line in my opinion, but honestly the whole line is super solid. And really, I mean, it's worth owning all of them in my opinion. I think they're all fantastic. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.